Do this one thing, and watch how people start to treat you differently. Watch how they pause mid-sentence when you enter a room. Watch how they lean in when you speak. This isn't arrogance. It isn't aggression. It's something far more powerful. A silent command that forces respect before you've even said a word. If you want to learn how to master that energy, hit like right now and subscribe to Stoic and Stone, because what I'm about to share could flip the power dynamic in every room you walk into. Most people are invisible. They walk into a room and no one notices. Their presence is weak. Their energy? Forgettable. They blend into the background like static noise. They speak, but their words carry no weight. They act, but their actions leave no impact. They exist, but they do not command. But then there are the few, the rare ones. They enter a space, and the air changes. Conversations pause, eyes lock. Even those who've never met them feel them. It's an unspoken force, a magnetic presence that demands attention. What makes the difference? It isn't luck. It isn't natural charisma. It isn't even money or power. It's one simple move, and once you understand it, you'll never be treated the same again. The harsh truth. Here's the reality. Society respects strength, not weakness. We operate in silent hierarchies, dominance and submission, leadership and followership. And whether you realize it or not, people are sizing you up constantly. Within seconds, they're placing you in invisible categories. It happens in boardrooms, at parties, on first dates, everywhere. You may think people judge you by what you say. Wrong. They judge you by how you say it. If you talk too fast, hesitate, or try too hard to impress, you're done. Subconsciously, they place you beneath them. And once that label sticks, it's nearly impossible to shake. You've already lost the game before you even started. But there's a way to flip the script, instantly. The one move. It's called the power of the pause, the ability to control silence, to control time. Weak men rush to fill gaps in conversation. They talk fast, afraid they'll be ignored. They babble, hoping for approval. Their voices rise at the end of sentences, seeking validation. But men of power, they pause. They let silence work for them. They make others wait, anticipate, respect. This isn't a gimmick, it's a weapon. Leaders, CEOs, high-status men have used this for centuries. Think about the most powerful men you know, in history, in business, even in movies. They don't rush. They don't fidget. They don't waste words. They create an aura of calm control. When someone asks you a question, don't answer immediately. Pause. Let the silence stretch. Hold their gaze. Feel the weight of their expectation. Then speak. Slowly, deliberately. Watch how they lean in, how their body shifts, how the energy in the room bends subtly in your favor. This isn't an illusion, it's psychology. Why it works in nature. The most dominant creature is rarely the loudest. The lion doesn't roar before the hunt. It moves in silence, calculating, waiting for the perfect moment. The alpha of any pack doesn't announce its dominance. It's understood. True leaders don't chase attention, they command it. Power moves slow. Power takes its time. When you pause, you signal. I'm not desperate for your approval. I control the pace, and people instinctively respect that. Most people fear silence. Our brains hate uncertainty. A well-timed pause creates that tension. It forces people to lean in, to focus, to assign greater value to your words. The less you seek approval, the more people give it to you. How to apply it. Here's what I want you to do. Next time you're in a conversation with a friend, a stranger, or someone in power, try this. When they ask you something, pause for 2 seconds. Don't fidget. Don't look away. Hold the silence. Then speak. Slowly, deliberately, with authority. Watch what happens. Watch how they shift in their seat. Watch how their eyes lock on you. Watch how their energy adjusts to yours. Do this once, and you'll feel the shift. Do this daily, and you'll never be treated the same again. Most people will ignore this advice. They'll keep talking fast, seeking approval, chasing attention, and they'll keep being overlooked. But those who master the pause, they rise above the noise. They command the room. They demand respect. Try this today, in your next conversation. When you feel the shift, when you see the reaction, when you notice the power, you'll never go back. If you want more psychological tactics to dominate any social situation, hit like right now and subscribe to Stoic and Stone. Because this is just the beginning. Power isn't given, it's taken, it's earned. Those who understand the unspoken rules rise above the weak, above the forgotten, above those who fade into the background. Ask yourself, when you enter a room, are you a force or are you fading into the noise? The pause isn't just silence, it's strength, it's control. It's the first step to mastering the world. So subscribe now and give your first steps to become a monster. The choice is yours. Here's what I want you to do. Next time you're in a conversation with a friend, a stranger, or someone in power, try this. When they ask you something, pause for 2 seconds. Don't fidget. Don't look away. Hold the silence. Then speak, slowly, deliberately, with authority. Watch what happens. Watch how they shift in their seat. Watch how their eyes lock on you. Watch how their energy adjusts to yours. Do this once, and you'll feel the shift. Do this daily, and you'll never be treated the same again. Most people will ignore this advice. They'll keep talking fast, seeking approval, chasing attention, and they'll keep being overlooked. But those who master the pause, they rise above the noise. They command the room. They demand respect. Young men ask all the time, what do I need to do to grow? To move forward? To make the most of my time, especially in my 20s as I step into manhood? The answer isn't complicated, but it is uncomfortable, and it demands that you stop drifting through life and start making choices that will echo for decades. Picture this. It's 10 years from now. You're standing in front of a mirror. Your face looks older, but your eyes, they're hollow. You see a man who wanted to be strong, confident, respected, but he never did the work. He traded his dreams for comfort. He traded his potential for regret. But there's another version of you. He's walking into a room with his head high. People stop and notice, not because he's loud, but because his presence speaks volumes. He's built himself, brick by brick, into a man who commands respect without saying a word. Which version will you become? Before we dive in, hit like and subscribe to Stoic and Stone. This isn't just a video, it's a wake-up call. Grow from potential into reality. Every man is born with potential. You felt it, that whisper deep inside. You're meant for more. But here's the brutal truth. Potential means nothing if you don't act on it. Picture Chris. He had it all. Raw talent, a sharp mind, natural charm. But he spent his 20s chasing parties, scrolling aimlessly, telling himself, I'll figure it out later. Now he's 35, staring at a screen in a job he hates, overweight, and haunted by what could have been. Then there's Alex. 5 years ago, he was just like Chris, lost and unsure. But one day, he decided he'd had enough. He started waking up before the sun, training his body even when it hurt, cutting toxic people from his life, and pouring himself into learning. Today, he's running his own business, inspiring others, and walking through life with purpose. Both men started the same. One took action, the other didn't. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine yourself at 35. Are you Chris or Alex? Start small. Set your alarm 30 minutes earlier. Read books that challenge you. Say no to comfort and yes to discipline. Every step is a brick in the foundation of the man you're becoming. Someday isn't coming. You either build your future today or watch it slip through your fingers. Embrace the power of silence. Silence is where boys become men. Most men fear it. They drown their minds in noise because silence forces them to face what's really inside. The insecurities, the regrets, the uncomfortable truth about who they are. There's a story about a man who became a billionaire. His secret? 30 minutes of silence every morning. No phone, no music, no distractions. Just him, his thoughts, and a notebook. In the stillness, he found clarity. In a noisy world, he became unshakable. When was the last time you sat in silence for even 10 minutes? No scrolling, no music, just you. Most men can't do it because they're terrified of what they'll hear. Here's your challenge. Carve out 30 minutes a day. Sit still. Breathe. Ask yourself the questions you've been avoiding. What do I want? Am I proud of how I'm living? If I died tomorrow, would I leave behind anything worth remembering? At first, it'll feel unbearable. But if you can endure it, you'll discover something most men never find: inner strength. The man who can sit in silence and face himself is the man who can face anything. Find a mentor. Life is a maze filled with temptations, dead ends, and decisions that can set you back years. Most men stumble around, wasting time, money, and relationships. Think of Marcus. He spent his 20s believing he could figure it all out alone. He jumped from job to job, dated people who drained him, and told himself he didn't need help. Then one day, a friend introduced him to a mentor. That man didn't sugarcoat things. He pushed Marcus to face his flaws, held him accountable, and taught him how to build discipline. Within 2 years, Marcus was unrecognizable, in the best way. A mentor is like a guide standing above the maze. They've walked the path. They've made the mistakes. They know where the traps are. Don't let ego keep you stuck. If you don't have a mentor yet, start with books, podcasts, and videos. Study the greats until you find someone to guide you in real life. Every day you wait is another day wasted. Accept who you are. This is the hardest lesson of all. Acceptance. Not the kind of acceptance that makes you settle for mediocrity. The kind that lets you stop fighting your nature and start building with what you've got. Maybe you're quiet and thoughtful. Stop wishing you were louder. Maybe you're intense and driven. Stop apologizing for it. Your wiring isn't broken. It's raw material waiting to be forged. Think of steel. Left unshaped, it's useless. But when forged in fire, it becomes a blade, sharp, powerful, unstoppable. The most successful men seem calm and confident because they stopped trying to be someone else. They accepted their nature and sharpened it into strength. When you accept yourself and commit to growth, you stop competing with other men. You start competing with your own potential. Take responsibility for everything. This final lesson separates boys from men. Radical responsibility. Weak men blame their parents, their boss, the economy, or even bad luck. They hand away their power because it feels easier than owning their failures. But strong men, they take responsibility for everything. Their actions, their mindset, even things that weren't entirely their fault. Imagine 2 men lose their job. One spirals into bitterness, blaming everyone but himself. The other says, "This is on me. What can I do next?" That second man is dangerous because he refuses to let life break him. He adapts, he learns, he keeps moving. Radical responsibility isn't about self-blame. It's about reclaiming control. When you own everything, you can change anything. Say it aloud. No one is coming to save me. It's all on me. And let that ignite you. So here's your roadmap. Stop coasting on potential and start building real character. Embrace silence and let it strip away your excuses. Find a mentor to guide you through the maze. Accept yourself and forge your strengths into weapons. Take radical responsibility for your life and reclaim your power. Most men won't do this. They'll keep scrolling, keep dreaming, and one day they'll wake up asking, "Where did all the time go?" But not you. You've already felt the pull. You know you're meant for more. Now is the time to act. Hit like and subscribe to Stoic in Stone for more lessons on discipline, focus, and building a life worth living. Manhood isn't given, it's forged. And the time to start is now. Have you ever faced a door slammed shut in your face, only to realize later it was the best thing that could have happened to you? What if I told you that rejection isn't just pain, it's power? That when harnessed the right way, it can become the fuel that drives your transformation? Today, we're diving deep into the art of turning the tables on rejection, inspired by the timeless wisdom of the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius. This isn't about toxic positivity or suppressing emotions. It's about flipping the script on rejection and using it as a lever to elevate your life. Before we jump in, hit that like button, subscribe to Stoic in Stone, and ring the notification bell so this wisdom reaches the men who need it most. Because what follows isn't just advice, it's a roadmap to becoming unstoppable. Lesson 1. Ignore them too. When life hands you the cold shoulder, don't shrink, rise. Ignoring those who ignore you isn't petty. It's a declaration of self-respect. It says, I don't need your validation to validate myself. Marcus Aurelius once said, the tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say, or think, or do, only what you do. That's the spirit here. You're not in this world to earn approval. You're here to embody your highest self. Why chase someone who overlooks your worth? Every moment you spend trying to be seen by someone who refuses to look is time stolen from building the man you're meant to become. Let go. Redirect that energy inward. Pour it into your body, your craft, your mission. This isn't about revenge, it's about redirection. When you stop showing up where you're not appreciated, you begin to rise in spaces where you are. And when your light grows, they won't just notice, they'll wonder how they ever missed it. Lesson 2. Don't react emotionally. Rejection tempts us to lash out, to spiral into self-doubt. But here's your weapon: Stoic composure. When the world expects your breakdown, deliver stillness. Epictetus taught that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The Stoics knew that true power isn't about controlling outcomes. It's about mastering our response. So when someone rejects you, don't argue or beg. Don't turn your heart into a battleground. Pause. Breathe. Observe. Ask yourself, what is this moment trying to teach me about myself? Feel your emotions, but don't let them lead. Every time you remain calm when chaos invites you in, you're not suppressing pain. You're elevating above it. Lesson 3. Remove them from your mind. Detachment is not indifference. It's discipline. It's saying, I respect myself too much to obsess over someone who cannot see me. Seneca wrote, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Think about that. How many hours have you spent replaying conversations, wondering if they'll call if you mattered? That's time lost, time stolen from your growth. Let them go, not with anger, but with acceptance. Remove the pedestal, the fantasy, the imagined reunion. And in that empty space, plant new roots, discipline, clarity, new connections. You'll find that peace doesn't come from someone coming back. It comes from no longer needing them to. Lesson 4. Demonstrate your value. Rejection isn't a judgment. It's an invitation, a challenge. Show me who you are when no one is watching. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Don't debate your worth. Embody it. Next time you're overlooked, don't plead. Produce. Building study. Create. Be so devoted to your mission that silence from others becomes background noise. Your greatness doesn't need permission. It needs persistence. Let the work speak. Let your evolution be your loudest answer. Lesson 5. Cut off contact. Sometimes peace doesn't come from fixing. It comes from walking away. The Stoics taught that detachment is strength, that by letting go, you gain control, not over others, but over yourself. Cutting contact isn't cruelty, it's clarity. You stop sending messages that go unanswered. You stop hoping for signs that never arrive. You protect your energy, you respect your boundaries. Let your silence be sacred. Use the space to reflect, to heal, to rise. And in that rising, you'll remember, their absence doesn't define you, your actions do. Lesson 6. Prove them wrong. Don't argue with doubters, outgrow them. Cleanthes, a later Stoic, once said, "Lead your life like someone watching you. Act as if history will record your every move." What would you do with your pain then? Turn it into progress. Channel rejection into mastery. Read more. Train harder. Get laser focused. Every goal achieved is a wordless rebuttal to those who underestimated you. This is your quiet revolution. A transformation so relentless, their silence becomes applause. Lesson 7. Go out and have fun. Rejection may have closed one door, but life is a hallway of 1,000 more. Joy isn't weakness. It's proof that your spirit remains undefeated. Go out, dance, laugh, learn a new language, join a club, explore new terrain. As Marcus Aurelius said, the universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. So craft a life so rich with experience that one person's absence becomes irrelevant. Live boldly, not to numb the pain, but to outshine it. Lesson 8. Build your social status. Rejection is isolation, but success, that's expansion. The Stoics believed in eudaimonia, human flourishing through virtue. So flourish. Build skills. Build networks. Speak confidently. Dress well. Walk like you belong in every room. When you elevate yourself socially, not through arrogance, but through service and substance, you attract people who reflect your growth. Be the man who doesn't need status, but earns it anyway. Lesson 9. Act as if they don't exist. The less you acknowledge them, the more you empower yourself. This isn't pettiness. It's poise. It's not pretending they never existed. It's refusing to let them live rent-free in your head. Seneca taught us to spend time only with those who elevate us. So reallocate your focus to those who see you, who grow with you, who show up. The rest, let them fade. Not with bitterness, but with indifference. That's the real flex. Lesson 10. Give them the silent treatment. Let silence be your sanctuary. Not a punishment for them, but a sanctuary for you. While they guess what you're thinking, you're rebuilding. While they drift, you're discovering. As Epictetus put it, it's not events that disturb people, it's their judgments. So let the event pass, and let your silence be filled not with plotting, but with progress. In your silence, let purpose echo. Lesson 11. Don't beg for attention. Begging diminishes you. Building elevates you. The Stoics would never grovel for attention. They understood that self-respect is non-negotiable. Instead of reaching out, reach inward. Level up. Strengthen your foundation. Become so engrossed in your evolution that their attention becomes irrelevant. Let them wonder why you stopped trying. Let you know exactly why. Lesson 12. Be kind but emotionally distant. Stoicism isn't cruelty. It's composure. Be polite. Be civil. But guard your heart. As Marcus Aurelius said, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Kindness doesn't mean access. You can wish someone well without giving them the power to hurt you again. Maintain your grace, but let your boundaries be carved in stone. Lesson 13. Don't reveal your struggle. Vulnerability is strength, but discretion is wisdom. Share your pain with those who've earned it, not those who caused it. Your struggle is sacred. You don't owe an audience your breakdown. Show the world your bounce back instead. Live like Marcus Aurelius, who wrote his thoughts in private, not for sympathy, but for strength. Let your scars be seen only by those who will honor them, not exploit them. We've walked through the 13 lessons, not as victims of rejection, but as warriors of resilience. Every no is a sharpening stone, a test, a teacher. You are not what someone else cannot see. You are who you choose to become. If you've made it this far, comment below. Strength in adversity. And if you want more content to build your mind, sharpen your soul, and walk with unshakable purpose, subscribe to Stoic and Stone. Until next time, remember, you are the author of your own value. Stay stoic. Have you ever felt chained to an emotion? Like no matter how hard you try, you can't shake the weight of a person, a memory, or a desire that won't let you move on. If you've been there, you know that emotional attachment can feel like a prison, one that robs you of peace, clarity, and your sense of control. But what if I told you that breaking free isn't just possible? It's within your reach. Today, we dive into the ancient Stoic teachings of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus to unearth timeless truths about emotional detachment. Not to numb yourself, but to liberate your soul. If you believe in growth, clarity, and owning your inner world, this is your roadmap to freedom. Before we begin, hit like and subscribe to Stoic and Stone. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, because what you're about to learn could change not just how you feel, but how you live. Lesson 1. The power of detachment. Let's begin with the foundation. Why detachment is essential. When we attach too tightly to people or situations, we become hostages to their outcomes. It's as if you've handed someone else the remote control to your emotions. If they change the channel, you suffer. That is not love. That is dependency. Stoic philosophy teaches us that peace comes not from clinging, but from clarity. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Visualize your emotions as a kite. Each string connects you to someone or something. If you grip too hard or tie too many strings, a single gust of disappointment can send you spiraling. Detachment doesn't mean cutting all strings. It means holding them loosely, anchored in your core. Start by asking, what or who controls my emotional state today? Then ask, is this within my control? Detachment starts when you stop outsourcing your peace to things you can't command. Lesson 2. Understanding attachment. Why do we cling so hard to things and people? Because of fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of being forgotten. Fear of being not enough. And where does fear live? In the ego. Seneca wrote, "He is most powerful who has power over himself." When our ego dominates, it drives us to seek constant validation. We don't love, we grasp. We don't connect, we clutch. Detachment begins when you replace ego with essence. When you remember that your worth isn't in how many hearts you win, but in how anchored you are in your own. Love isn't about possession, it's about presence. It's not about holding someone tightly, it's about walking with them freely. So how do you detach from ego? Start with this. Name your fear, then question it. What am I really afraid of? And is it real? Most of the time, you'll find it's just smoke and mirrors. Lesson 3. The illusion of the ego. Our ego plays tricks. It whispers lies. You're not enough without them. You'll never find this again. You need their approval. Epictetus warned us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The ego builds false pedestals. It idolizes others. But the moment life brings us back to our knees, illness, loss, mortality, we remember, no one is above or below us. We are all temporary, fallible, human. Healthy detachment doesn't mean denying connection. It means dethroning obsession. It means realizing that losing someone does not mean losing yourself. Every time you practice gratitude for your existence, every time you nurture your talents, every time you center your worth in your actions, you dismantle the illusion. Lesson 4. Detachment in practice. Here's where it gets real. How do you actually do it? Let's be honest, letting go hurts, but clinging to what doesn't serve you hurts even more. Start by naming what you're holding on to. A person, a story, a dream that no longer fits? Write it down, then list what it's costing you. Time, peace, energy, opportunities. Let those costs be the fire that fuels your release. Replace rituals of attachment with rituals of freedom. If you normally scroll through someone's feed to feel connected, replace it with journaling. Meditation, a walk. Replace fantasy with reality. Replace longing with learning. You are not missing out. You are growing in. Lesson 5. The path to happiness. What makes you valuable? Is it who desires you? Who chooses you? Number, it's who you become. Detachment isn't a wall. It's a window. One that lets in the truth that your joy, your peace, your worth come from within. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Happiness comes from alignment, when your values, your actions, and your purpose match. When you stop chasing someone else's script and write your own. Tend to your own garden. Cultivate your habits. Pour into your passions. And what you lose in attachment, you will gain tenfold in self-respect. You are not broken for loving deeply. You are not weak for feeling strongly. But you are powerful beyond measure when you realize that emotional freedom is not the absence of love. It is the presence of wisdom. Let go, not with bitterness, but with bravery. If you made it this far, type emotional freedom in the comments. Hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to remember their worth. You are enough. You always were. Stay stoic. Let's be brutally honest. You've been grinding. You've been consistent. You've done everything they said would work. Early mornings, late nights, relentless focus. But nothing's happening. No breakthroughs, no applause, just silence. And it's starting to rot something inside you. Not your discipline, but your hope. Most people quit here, not because they're weak, not because they're lazy, but because they can't carry the weight of the silence anymore. The silence of doing the work while the world doesn't notice. But there's another path, darker, quieter, lonelier, and at the end of it, power. If you're ready to walk it, hit that like button and subscribe to Stoic and Stone, because we're about to descend into the kind of truth most people run from. The man who chose the shadows. Let's begin with the man who mastered silence, Miyamoto Musashi. Over 60 life or death duels, undefeated. And yet, he didn't belong to a noble school. He wasn't born into status. He didn't have a mentor handing him praise. He trained in forests, slept under bridges, and obsessed over the edge of his blade. Musashi didn't fight for an audience. He trained like a ghost. And when asked about his path, he said, "Step by step, walk the 1,000-mile road." That quote isn't about slow and steady progress. It's about madness. It's about the kind of obsession that keeps moving forward when no one claps, no one sees, and no one cares. Musashi understood. The path is the destination. The pain of invisible progress. Bring this to your own life. You've been writing, training, building. Whatever your craft is, you've been sharpening it. But the world is silent. No likes, no retweets, no revenue, no validation, and it's eating you alive. This, right here, is where most quit, because no one tells you that progress is invisible until it isn't. Think of bamboo. You water it for years before anything breaks the surface. Then suddenly, 90 feet of growth in weeks. Not magic, just delayed confirmation. Most people rip the seed out and say it didn't work. Musashi? He'd sit in the rain and keep watering. Detach from outcome, the samurai way you've been lied to. They told you results fuel motivation. They don't. Purpose does. Musashi didn't fight to win. He fought to become. Every duel wasn't a contest. It was a mirror. Who am I becoming? What am I sharpening? He wrote, "Do nothing that is of no use." That includes obsessing over things you can't control, like views, or likes, or validation. The moment you get addicted to progress, you get emotional, desperate, weak. Detach. Detach from outcome. Focus on becoming the kind of person who would keep going, even if the reward never came. That's power. That's the way of the samurai. Darkness is the forge. Now let's talk about that silent place. That void, where nothing seems to work. That's not failure. That's the forge. It's the cocoon. The dark room where transformation happens. Not through glory, but through erosion. Most people run from it. Distract themselves. Quit. You sit in it. Let it break you. Let it rebuild you. The Stoics called this apatheia, not indifference, but emotional sovereignty. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." So what if no one sees? So what if the numbers don't move? You're not doing it for them. You're doing it for you. To become the kind of person who keeps showing up with no applause. Because when you reach that level, you become dangerous. Train like a ghost. Musashi trained in silence, without fans, without fame. His principle was clear. If you're seen too soon, you become a target. Today's world is addicted to showing off, behind the scenes, day in the life, constant updates, but power grows best in silence. Real killers train in the dark. They're not training to be seen. They're training to win. Stop broadcasting every step. Let the world think you're dormant, while you're turning into something they can't comprehend. Embrace boredom like a monk. Boredom isn't a problem. It's a signal. It means the path is working. It means your ego is dying. Monks sit for hours in silence, not for excitement, but for transformation. Samurai practiced the same strike thousands of times, until their bones knew it better than their minds did. You want to win? Then fall in love with the dull, with repetition. Because boredom is the gatekeeper of mastery. Modern shadows, Goggins, Kobe, and the monster zoom out. David Goggins ran on broken legs, trained alone, with no applause, no camera. Why? Because he had something to prove to himself. Kobe Bryant, he practiced at 4 a.m., not for fans, but because that's when the weak were still sleeping. These men had a monster behind their eyes, not at the world, at their own wasted potential. You need that monster. You need that fire. Not to get ahead of others, but to catch up with who you could be. The void is the crucible. Every journey has a phase called the void. It's not the beginning. It's not success. It's the long silence in between. No feedback, no progress, just limbo. Most people quit here, not because they're weak, but because the void whispers. You're wasting your time. You're not special. It was just a dream. But if you stay long enough, something changes. You stop needing permission. You stop explaining. You stop waiting. You become unreasonable, unshakable, unapologetic. And that's the moment, right there, when the world starts to respond. Not because it owes you, but because you no longer need it. One strike changes everything. Let me remind you, when Musashi faced Sasaki Kojiro, he won with one strike. One. But that strike took years to earn. Years of training unseen, of waking up alone, of bleeding in silence. That's the irony. One moment can change everything, but you have to become the person who's ready when it comes. Burn the timeline. Your biggest enemy isn't failure. It's expectation. You thought it would take 6 months. You thought you'd be viral by now. You thought followers meant arrival. Reality doesn't care. Progress doesn't run on your calendar. Mastery laughs at your timeline, so burn it. Replace it with one vow. I'll keep going until it breaks, until I break, until there is nothing left but raw truth. That's the grind that outlasts hope. That's what turns effort into inevitability. The final cut, Musashi died undefeated. But more than that, he died unshaken. Not because he always won, but because he always showed up. Rain, blood, silence, rejection. He kept walking the 1,000-mile road, step by brutal step. No shortcuts, no applause, no guarantees, just discipline, sharpened by isolation, purpose, carved into his bones. That's your path too. Not a highlight reel, not aesthetics, but the dark, invisible, unsexy road to mastery, where no one claps, where the lights stay off, where your demons walk beside you. If you can survive that, you become someone the world cannot ignore. Musashi wrote, "Today is victory over yourself of yesterday. Tomorrow is your victory over lesser men." So what now? Now, you keep going, even if no one watches, even if nothing works, even if everything inside you begs to quit, because deep down, you know, you are the blade. You are the steel. You are becoming sharper, harder to break, every damn day. Thank you for watching. If this video hit you deep, do two things. Like it. Subscribe to Stoic in Stone, and then watch the next video, because this journey doesn't stop here. It only gets harder. And you're ready. See you in the next one.